Good morning, and welcome to the program. Today, we're going to be talking about where we get our news. I have here some results from an international survey done by the BBC. People from different countries were asked questions about their news consumption, like, what is your most important source of news? How much do you trust your national news? And do you think there's too much foreign influence on your news? The survey was given to people from 10 different countries, and it revealed some interesting similarities and differences. You probably won't be surprised to hear that most people around the world get most of their news from television. The survey asked, what is your most important source of news in a typical week? In most countries, more than 50% of the people who responded said that television was their main source of news. But there was one exception, and guess where that was? Germany. In Germany, 45% of the people named a newspaper as their most important source of news, compared to only 30% for television. India was also unusual. There, television versus newspapers were almost evenly split, with 37% mentioning television first and 36% mentioning newspapers first. You might think that a lot of people get their news from the Internet these days, but in most countries the Internet is actually in third or fourth place as a main source of news. The big exception to this is South Korea, which has the Internet in second place behind television. A full 34% of the South Korean respondents said that the Internet was their most important source of news, a much higher percentage than in other countries. The survey also questioned people about which news source they find most trustworthy. Most people trust their national news sources more than international sources. For example, in Brazil, 68% of people have a lot of or some trust in their national newspapers, and an amazing 98% of Indonesians have a lot of or some trust in their national television news. The one exception to this trend is Egypt, where 77% trust international television the most. This is mainly because of one news source, Al Jazeera, a widely respected international Arabic language news station. When asked about how accurate the news media is, American, Brazilian, and British respondents were the most skeptical. 46% of Americans, 45% of Brazilians, and 43% of British respondents didn't think the media reports news accurately. Indonesians have by far the most trust in their media. Only 6% disagreed with the statement, the media reports news accurately. In a lot of countries, people are concerned about too much foreign influence on their media. This concern is especially high in Brazil and South Korea. In Brazil, 77% of the respondents agreed that there is too much foreign influence on their media, and 71% of the South Koreans felt the same way. So, now that we've heard the survey results, let's talk about you. Call in and let me know. Where do you get your news, and what sources do you trust the most?